Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. So today we are going to be counting down, ranking the 14 studio albums from Italian symphonic power metal legends Rhapsody of Fire. So Rhapsody of Fire has a pretty interesting history. They are primarily led by, or should I say, they were led by their fantastic guitarist and songwriter Luca Turilli for the first 9 albums, and then keyboard player Alex Staropoli, would take over songwriting duties from Dark Wings of Steel onwards, or so I've heard, and Roberto De Michele would come on board as the new guitar player. And on the vocals, they had Fabio Leone sing on the first 10 albums, and on the latest 3 studio albums, they had Giacomo Voli on the mic. And for basically the first 6 albums, Rhapsody of Fire were just known as Rhapsody. Nothing really fancy schmancy or anything like that. And then the mid-2000s, basically from Triumph or Agony onwards, they changed their name to Rhapsody of Fire due to trademark issues with another band, or so the story goes. Okay, that was a lot to unpack, but we got 14 studio albums to rank, so this ranking will be divided up into 2 parts. We're going to be tackling albums 14 through 7 in this video, and then the second part we'll be tackling albums number 6 to number 1. So let's get started with the ranking. So coming in at number 14, we have the 2013 album Dark Wings of Steel. This is pretty much the consensus least favorite Rhapsody of Fire album, and it's definitely the worst sounding album. Out of all of their albums, this album's production is definitely the worst. It's too shallow, there's no depth, it's very brittle in a lot of aspects, especially in the drums, and the songwriting is just not quite there. You could definitely feel Luca Turilli's absence on this album. This is the first album without him on the guitars, and the first album with Roberto De Michele on the guitars. But yeah, not to say that Dark Wings of Steel is a bad album, because it absolutely isn't. There's a lot of great songs on this album. You have My Sacrifice, which is a cool mini epic, Fly to Crystal Skies, Rising from Tragic Flames, the title track, Sad Mystic Moon, and Silver Lake of Tears. And then my favorite song on the album has to go to Angels of Light, one of the grooviest power metal songs I've ever heard to date, and definitely the grooviest song that Rhapsody of Fire have released so far. But as it stands, Rhapsody of Fire just has way too many good albums for me to put Dark Wings of Steel any higher. And yeah, Rhapsody of Fire just has an amazing discography. Yeah, so with that said, Dark Wings of Steel comes in here at number 14. Number 13, we're going to be going to the following album, 2016's Into the Legend. So this is the final album to feature Fabio Leone on the vocals, and in my opinion, this is a pretty good swan song album for him. This has the fewest amount of tracks on any Rhapsody of Fire album, with a total of 7, but a good majority of these tracks are very, very listenable and very fun. You have Rage of Darkness, Realms of Light, Winter's Rain, Distant Sky, the title track Into the Legend, and the 16.5-minute epic The Kiss of Life, which is very, very well orchestrated. If you like orchestra, if you like classical music, then you will have a good time with this song. A good chunk of this song is just nothing but an orchestra, and it's very, very well written and very, very beautiful to listen to. And of course, the narration from the late great Christopher Lee always delivers on these longer epic songs of theirs. But yeah, overall, Into the Legend, a pretty good album, but I wish there was more material on this album. It sounds good. Fabio sounds fantastic. The songs are pretty good, but I just wish this album was just a little bit longer, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, Into the Legend, not a bad album. So it comes in here number 13. Number 12, we're gonna be going to 2021 and talk about Glory for Salvation. So this is definitely the weakest album with Giacomo Voli on the vocals, but it's not a bad album by any means. In fact, Giacomo in particular delivers a fantastic vocal performance on this album. You have a lot of great songs on here. You have Abyss of Pain 2, which is a 10-minute epic. They love doing epic songs, and for the most part, a lot of them are absolutely amazing. Teriel the Hawk, Maid of the Secret Sand, Son of Vengeance, a killer opening track. The Kingdom of Ice, Chains of Destiny, a beautiful closing track. The title track, and then my favorite song on the album has to go to Magic Signs. This is the ballad off of this album, and even though I prefer Fabio Lione as a Rhapsody of Fire vocalist, one thing that I will give Giacomo Voli a lot of credit for is his ability to sing amazing ballads. And in fact, I do prefer Giacomo when it comes to Rhapsody of Fire ballads. His voice is just built to sing ballads, something that I think Fabio's could use a little bit more work in. But yeah, overall, Glory for Salvation is a great album. It comes in here at number 12. Number 11, we're going to be going to their most recent album, 2024's Challenge the Wind. This album is fantastic. Giacomo's vocals are freaking amazing. But what I will say, this album pretty much feels like a carbon copy of Glory for Salvation. But I put it a little bit higher because it has, I think, more songs that I enjoy over Glory for Salvation. For example, you have the 16-minute epic Vanquished by Shadows, which is, in my opinion, probably their weakest long epic song, but it's still an awesome track. You have Mastered by the Dark, Diamond Claws, Black Wizard, Holy Downfall, the title track, and then my favorite song on the album, and my favorite song from the Giacomo Voli era of Rhapsody of Fire, A Brave New Hope. This is a absolutely amazing power metal song, and like I said, I think it's the best song from this era. But overall, Challenge the Wind as a whole is pretty good, but we're going to get into some absolutely top-tier power metal albums with these next picks. So, Challenge the Wind comes in here at number 11. Number 10, we're going to be going to 2006 and be talking about Triumph or Agony. So, Triumph or Agony is the first album with the Rhapsody of Fire name. No longer, from this point onward, the band is now known as Rhapsody of Fire, not just Rhapsody. And this very much feels like a classic Rhapsody of Fire album. I get a lot of Dawn of Victory and Reign of a Thousand Flames vibes from this album, particularly in the shorter tracks. You have Dark Reign of Fire, Bloody Red Dungeons, Silent Dream, the title track, Heart of the Darklands, Myth of the Holy Sword, Il Canto del Vento, which is Italian for the Chant of the Wind. And this is really one thing that I really admire Rhapsody of Fire for doing. They have a handful of tracks which are sung in their native language, which is Italian. And even though I don't speak Italian, I don't know any Italian. It's very cool to see. It's very cool to see a band sing songs in their native language. So shout out to that. But then the two best tracks on this album, you have the 16.5-minute epic, The Mystic Prophecy of the Demon Knight, which is such an amazing song, up there with some of their best epics they've ever done. But my favorite song in the album has to go to the ballad on this album, Son of Pain. Honestly, this is probably my favorite ballad of theirs, or at least in the top 3. Fabio's vocals are just so gorgeous, and the accompanying music is just so heart-wrenching. Son of Pain, absolutely one of their best songs. It's just beautiful. But yeah, overall, Triumph or Agony, a very good album, but like I said, Rhapsody of Fire, when Rhapsody of Fire are at their best, they just put out banger after banger after banger. So we're going to go ahead and find out what those bangers are. So Triumph or Agony comes in here at number 10. Number 9 might be a little bit controversial. We're going to go with Reign of a Thousand Flames from 2001. So this is definitely the weakest album of their Emerald Sword Saga, which is a overarching story that lasts for their first 5 albums. And Reign of a Thousand Flames is definitely the weakest one. Much like with Into the Legend, I wish there were a couple of more tracks on this album. And it also has one of my least favorite Rhapsody of Fire songs, Tears of a Dying Angel. I feel like that song kind of drags a little bit, and it's way too narration heavy. There's not a lot of singing on this song, and there's not a lot of music to back up that narration, or at least music that doesn't really fit the vibes, if you will. But there are definitely some great songs on here. You have the title track, which is a fan favorite song, the poem's Evil Page, the 2 instrumental tracks, Dead Omen and Elmore's Magic Valley, and then the 2 epic songs on here. You have the 10-minute long The Wizard's Last Rhymes, which is another popular song of theirs. And then you have the 13-minute epic, Queen of the Dark Horizons. This is my favorite song on the album, and another one of their best epic songs. Well, I mean, really, both of these epic songs are fantastic, but Queen of the Dark Horizons especially is a masterpiece. But yeah, overall, Reign of a Thousand Flames is a very good album, but considering the 4 albums surrounding this one just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. So, yeah. Reign of a Thousand Flames comes in here at number 9. Number 8, we're going to be talking about the 2019 album, The Eighth Mountain. This is definitely the best album from the Giacomo Volli era. I know Challenge the Wind might have had the best song from his era with the band, but as an overall album, you really cannot go wrong with The Eighth Mountain. This is the first album with Giacomo Volli on the vocals, and the best one. All of these songs are consistently amazing. White Wizard, The Courage to Forgive, 7 Heroic Deeds, Reign of Fury. All 4 of those tracks are amazing power metal songs. This album also has 2 amazing ballads with Warrior Heart and The Wind, the Rain, and the Moon. Both songs are just absolutely stunning, and Giacomo's vocals are just top tier on both tracks. And then the 2 epic songs on this album, you have the nearly 11-minute long Tales of a Hero's Fate, which is basically the definitive, or basically just sums up Rhapsody of Fire as a whole in this era. And then you have my favorite song on the album, the 9.5-minute long March Against the Tyrant, which just has some very punchy hooks and punchy riffs and amazing solos from Roberto Di Michele. This has Roberto's best guitar performances with the band, and it's really just where the band really got their crap together, and they really made a banger of an album. This is definitely the best album they've done since From Chaos to Eternity. Minor spoiler alert there. But yeah, overall, The Eighth Mountain, fantastic album. Comes in here at number 8. Alright, now for the final album we're going to be talking about in this video, number 7. This one might be a little bit controversial. We're going with Dawn of Victory from 2000. So this is the band's 3rd studio album, and this is another one of their more popular albums. Mainly because it contains 2 of the band's most overplayed songs, with the title track Dawn of Victory and Holy Thunder Force, the latter of which is my favorite song on the album and is one of my favorite Rhapsody of Fire songs ever. Then you also have other amazing songs like The Mighty Ride of the Fire Lord, which is the epic on this album, and it's amazing. You have Triumph for My Magic Steel, Village of the Dwarves, The Last Winged Unicorn, and Dragar, the Shadow Lord of the Black Mountain. All those songs are fantastic. This is pretty much the definitive Rhapsody of Fire album. You got all of your dragon stories, warrior stories, Fantasyland themes, great vocal performances. It's just everything you could ever want in a Rhapsody of Fire album. But personally, I think they've done better. Yeah, that might give me some flack, but I think they've done better. But make no mistake, Dawn of Victory is an absolutely fantastic album and a classic album in the genre. So yeah, with that said, Dawn of Victory comes in here at number 7. So that will conclude the first part of my Rhapsody of Fire album rankings. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is Water 122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.